How's going, everyone? Just wanted to show you a new extension I made for GDevelop. Is the if-else statement. Right now is only working for scene variables and global variables. We have three conditions for the scene variables and another three for the global, and one which is called else works for both globals and scene variables. So this is because I use this in construct 2 a lot, this else system function, but in GDevelop is not there. There is no else into the GDevelop system. So but basically what we can do with this, if we for instance set a global variable type text, so here some text as initial value. Okay, so we have our some text here at the beginning of the scene, or here is the start of the layout. We change that global to some other text, and then we just compare that value if it's equal to text, which in this case is going to be false. Then this block of actions is not going to happen. But since we have an else here, these two actions, yeah, they are happening. So if I play this, we can see here the yay thing, which is here. But this logic into GDevelop can be implemented too. I mean, if we have some variables, we can compare right here. For instance, the boolean global, we can compare here if it's true or false, then duplicate this and we change just this, and this is the same as if else. If it's true, do something here, I don't know, modify the text and do yeah, and if it's false, do night. Okay, so then at the beginning of the scene, we set that global the boolean g, for instance, to true. So later we compare here if it's true or false, and act in kind. This time we set here true, so it's going to enter here and not here. It's the same result. because it's true, we are getting yay. If we change this to false, we get nay. But there is no way there is no way to if this do this, there is no such a logic into GDevelop. So I made this extension. Let me show you a little bit of the extension itself. This is for scenes variables, these three. So we check if a string is equal to another string, and this parameter is the name of your variable. Since here we can't get variables, so I use a string to get the name of that variable. So let's check, for instance, this string thing. Here I have a scene variable, string. Okay, I name this string and equal to a. Okay, and here I just keeping a track of which is the value of that variables. So when we start the scene, the string is going to be a, the number is going to be 1, and the boolean is going to be true. So now we uncomment this. Let me comment this, and we are going to see this step by step. So when we want to do if string or variable string is equal to a, we do this. Other conditions, if else, scene variables, and we compare a string. And here what we pass as a parameter is the name of the variable, which in this case is string, and the value we want to compare is a. So since I already said this, but since we can't pass a variable itself to a condition into an extension, because here it's not available, so I made this with text, and then we checked if this variable is its value is equal to a, which in this case is true, so is never get here, because it's true. So this condition is going to return the logic here, which is we get that text and cast all of that text and treat this as a scene variable. This way you can get the scene variable. Runtime scene, get variables, get, and here we can pass the parameter. Saying this to GDevelop is the same to saying this. String, which is the name of our variable, or even the same of saying this. Condition, variables, scene variables, text, and here we put the string equals to a, or get parameter as a string, and I think I named this param2 or text2, I don't remember, text2. So it's the same. The difference doing this with JavaScript is this variable is not represented later into the logic of the extension. It's just use it here. But saying this is the same as a regular event here. But since this is a parameter, we can't know what is the name of the scene variable here. The only way is if the user sends us that variable name as a parameter here. Here, with this one, the text one, which is the name of the variable what we want to compare. So we get that variable here, and we get the parameter to compare here. Then just get this variable as a string, and we compare if it's equal. This is not the best way to compare two strings, but I just wanted to keep it simple. So later, if it's true, which in this case our string is a, and if we do this if is going to be true, then inside the if else statement here I assign a global variable named if underscore else, and I set this to true or 1 because it's a number. So if it's 1, it's not going to enter here, sorry, it's not going to enter here into the else, because the only way we can get here into the else is if this global variable is equal to 0. So when the if statement here fails or is not equal, we are going to go inside this else and set that variable to 0 and return false. So here this condition is going to return false, assign 0 to this variable, and then the next action is a condition that check that variable, check this variable, and if it's equal to 0, perform these actions. So now we are going to run this game, and what is going to happen here is the first time, since string is A, we compare this, and this is going to be true, and we are going to change the string to B. The string variable equal B. Okay, so the next action is to compare, is string equal to C? This is going to be false because it's B. Okay, and this block is not going to happen, so string never is going to go equal D, but since this is false, it's going to enter here into the else and change the string to E. Okay, so let's check this. Okay, so the string at the beginning of the scene is A, and if A returns true, so A is going to change to B. Okay, so now we are asked here if string equals C, and this is false, and as this is false, we execute the else here, which change the value of B to E. Okay, so that is pretty much what we do with the strings, and the same for numbers. For the numbers is pretty much the same logic here, because we get two parameters, one for the variable name, which is this, text1, and text2 for the number, but in this case we expect a number here. The text2 is a string, and here a number, and here we only need just the variable name, because we compare if this variable name is true or false inside the logic here of the JavaScript. We get the variable name and we cast that variable to variable scene, which is this one. I named this boolean, and I set this boolean to true, and the number to 1. So we check if the number is equal to 1, we change that number to 2. This is not going to happen. Then we check that number again, and we ask, are you equal 3? And this is not going to happen because the number is 2, which is assigned here. So this is false. Let's go to the next action, and this else, since it's getting this variable equals 0, is going to perform the actions here. So let's check this. Let me, well, I'm not going to move this. It's okay. This is disabled and the others too. So let's check this. We at the start of this scene we have the number as 1. We ask here if number equal 1. This is true, so it changes that number to 2. Let's get to the next action, in which we ask are you equal 3, and this is false because the current value of this variable is 2. So we enter in this else and change that value to 5, which is this one, this value, and is pretty much the same for the booleans. The boolean is set to true at the beginning of the scene. Then we ask, are you have you a value of true? So this is yes. Then we change this to false, just to test here if this value is true. So this is going to be false, and these actions are not going to happen. These one are going to happen. We can change this to true, for instance, to see the process. So we start with true, check here, change to false, check here, and since it's false, it's going to be entered here into the else and change back to true. So let's check it out. We are going here, true. The first if here is true, so we change that to false. And when we ask here if you have a value of true, this is not happening, and these actions are not happening, but these actions, this condition is happening because of the other global variable. And if we inspect this code, sorry, not here, here into the we are into the scenes variables. So we have our string with an A, our number with a 1, and our boolean with a true, which is the end of this else here, and this is the helper variable to make that else logic. Is pretty much how is done here in construct, but I don't know why into the GDevelop is not available something like this, so I made myself one. extension for this, and the globals are pretty much the same. I didn't try with the objects variables. Maybe tomorrow I take a look on how to. I didn't try the objects because uh, that imply to make here for each and get each object separately, and I lack of knowledge of JavaScript to make that, so I just keep things simple and do this just for the globals and the scene variables with 7 conditions: 3 for the scenes, 3 for the globals, and the else itself. So here is the same. The difference here is we have to choose from here, from the global variables, and we checked the variable name, which in this case is string G, and the value we want to compare, which in this case, when we start, is the doctor and Racealia, and here we ask to the system if this value is the same. So this time is going to be true, and these blocks of actions is going to happen, and we change to only the doctor. So here we ask again, is string G equal to only the doctor? This is going to fail. It's going to be false. These blocks are not going to happen, and this else is going to trigger and change the variable to the doctor and Rose. So another if we ask, is string G the doctor and Rose? This is going to be true, and we change to the doctor and Rose again. So let's check this. Let me disable the number and the boolean. Just check the string thing of the global variables. So when we start, or string G is the doctor and Racealia, we checked if this is true, so we change that value to only the doctor. But when we ask here if string G is equal to C, or whatever we want to check, this is false. Then we come here and change the variable to the doctor and Rose, which is here. We are inside this else, and then another if statement, and is this value the doctor and Rose, this is true, then we change again to the doctor and Rose again. It's pretty simple. I think I think this for beginners is going to be a good extension. What do we want to do now is to go to check the number thing. So for the number is pretty much the same. Number G equal 1. We come here, ask number G is equal 1. Yes, we changed to 2. So when we come to this if number G is not 3, so it's going to be to the else and change it to 5. Maybe let me change this number to 15. See, it's pretty much the same. Number G at the beginning of the scene is 1, so we check if you are 1, change to 2. If you are you 3, no, then change to 15. Boom, so quickly. So the last one is this, which it's a boolean true, and is pretty much the same. We change to false. We check here if it's true. This is not going to happen. It's going here, and here we change to true again. So you are false, change to true again. We start true, we change to false, we back to true with a logic if else. Then here is a mix. I don't know if this works, I don't remember. I make some test. How about if we want to mix values? So at this moment I need to reactivate all of this and change the last value of the number to 5 here for this to work. So when the game starts, it's going to execute all of this in order from top to bottom. When we reach this point or this, depending of the condition, it's going to be the Doctor and Rose again, or just Doctor Who. And when we reach here, depending on the condition, it's going to be 4 or 5, as we seen a minute ago. We know that this is going to be 5 because this is happening, and here I think this is going to happen. So when we wanted to combine or mix two conditions to if statement, but just one else, we do this way. We ask, is number G equal 5? So we know this is going to happen. And the Doctor and Rose is going to fail, because we know that is the Doctor and Rose again. So if we run this, we are not getting these actions here. We are getting inside the else, because this is not happening at all. This returns true, but this returns false. So it's impossible this action to happen. It goes directly to the else, and if we change this to the doctor and rows again, since this one is true and this is true, the else is not going to happen, and we are ending with the work for both. Which is true, because the number G is 5 and the string G is the doctor and rows again. And that way we can use a simple if-else statement with this extension. As I said, at this moment right now is only for scene variables and global variables, but maybe tomorrow I do the objects thing. Okay, so I'm going to share this into a GitHub repo. It's available here. If you want to see all my stuff, you just come here to GitHub Ulises Freitas and you can get all of my extension. So in some of this extension the tutorial is inside, like this one, all the explanation, the YouTube video associated, but no, in my older ones there is nothing there, just a little bit of documentation and the video tutorial. But right now I'm creating this extension fully documented. Okay, so that's all what I wanted to share with you today. Okay, bye bye.